So our next guest is joining us actually from Slovenia. My great-grandmother was from Slovenia, so I think I get to claim some sort of knowing. However, Stritih is a director of sustainable development consulting and has been key in many of the transformative movements for the Slovenian government of Office of Climate Change. He is an engineer, he's an expert in international environmental and sustainability policies, and he brings over 25 years of experience in the work that he's done in climate negotiations through the decades. It is my great pleasure to welcome you. Jörni, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, well, thank you. It's a great honor and pleasure to join you today.
What a beautiful scenery behind you. Is that?
That's the mountains of Slovenia, rendered by an artist.
Lovely, lovely. So you have had a very exciting, or a long and storied career in this space. And I understand from our colleague David Lynn's recent visit to Slovenia on a project we're working on together, that there is an incredible love of the environment in Slovenia. What are you excited about in terms of, I've been saying this too many times, I think. What does Earth Overshoot Day mean to you and the work that you do?
Well, generally speaking, it's a great reminder that we live on borrowed resources from our grandchildren and children, and that we need to do something so that they can take advantage of this. But more specifically, I think using the global footprint as an indicator of sustainability, it's a good way for linking together different aspects of sustainability. And that's why the Slovenian government has started using this as one of the indicators of success of our development strategy until 2030. And it enables us to do two things. One is to set priorities within the countries to figure out what are the main resource issues or environmental issues we need to deal with. And it also deals with environmental justice. It basically assigns the responsibility for the use of resources for those who are the consumers. So when basically notices about the overshoot day were published recently, these days in the media in Slovenia, although we consider ourselves quite sustainable, everybody was a bit shocked that we are so much in the overdraft. And globally, it's 1st of August. In Slovenia, it was May 12th. So that comes as a shock to many Slovenians. And I think it's a good way to reflect on where we are and what we want to do in the future.
From what I understand, Slovenia has a really integrated approach to sustainability, which I think is so important as we think of these as systems. It's not solely energy or anything else, but the connection to who we are as in terms of environmental justice, in terms of social justice. That's all part of the same systems. So in all of the work that's going on and the work that you're involved in, what's an exciting initiative that you're kind of into towards moving the date?
Well, I would point out what we are doing at the present together with our ministry, or a couple of ministries, and that's trying to look at what's happening to the forests of Slovenia. Slovenia is very proud of our forests. They are quite natural. There's a lot of them. We have all the wild animals of Central Europe living in them. They are a great resource for recreation and tourism in the recent years, and they are a great source of income for the owners in terms of wood products. And until basically these last couple of years, somehow all the foresters assumed that forests will just go on growing as they grow all the time. But since 2014, with a couple of severe weather events in Slovenia, we see that we really have to start thinking hard about preserving the forests and their biocapacity, which is an important part of the global footprint, to preserve their biocapacity in view of the climate change and the impacts, negative impacts of the climate change. So I don't think we can take nature for granted. We need to work with it, and we need to find a way to make sure that these natural resources or the fertile land of the world is really functioning, and that the biodiversity and the productivity of the land is maintained.
Absolutely, absolutely. So our final question then, if there was a challenge or issue that you would like to see addressed in the next year, what would that be?
Well, I often say that, I mean, I come from a country that saw 3 wars in the 20th century in the center of Europe. And some people say environment can be a threat to peace, but I also say that environment and sustainability is also an opportunity to improve the peace in the world. I mean, if we all collaborate together on things like Paris Climate Accord or other global conventions, I think there are good opportunities for moving the whole humanity forward and improving the security. If we start fighting over resources, then we will be quite in deep trouble. So I hope that we will see more collaboration between the global leaders and between the people on the ground on improving the sustainability.
I think that's a beautiful vision. Thank you so much for being a partner. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for
thank you for having me.
Thanks for
let's move the date together.
Let's move the date.